Canto 15, Circle 7, Round 3. The Violent Against Nature. We go by one of those stone margins now, and the steam of the rivulet makes a shade above it, guarding the stream and the banks from the flaming snow. As the Flemings in the lowland between Bruges and Wissant, under constant threat of the sea, erect their great dikes to hold back the deluge, as the Paduans, along the shores of the Brent, build levees to protect their towns and castles, lest Chiarenata drown in the spring torrent. To the same plan, though not so wide nor high, did the engineer, whoever he may have been, design the margin we are crossing by. Already, we were so far from the wood that even had I turned to look at it, I could not have made it out from where I stood. When a company of shades came into sight, walking beside the bank, they stared at us, as men at evening by the new moon's light stare at one another when they pass by on a dark road, pointing their eyebrows towards us as an old tailor squints at his needle's eye. Stared so closely by that ghostly crew, I was recognized by one who seized the hem of my skirt and said, "Wonder of wonders, you?" And I, when he stretched out his arm to me, searched his baked features closely till at last I traced his image from my memory in spite of the burnt crust, and bending near to put my face closer to his, at last I answered, "Sir Brunetto, are you here?" "Oh, my son, may it not displease you," he cried, "if Brunetto Latino leave his company and turn and walk a little by your side." And I, to him, "With all my soul I ask it. Or let us sit together, if it please him who is my guide and leads me through this pit." "My son," he said, "whoever of this train pauses a moment must lie 100 years forbidden to brush off the burning sand. Therefore go on. I will walk at your hem, and then rejoin my company, which goes mourning eternal loss and eternal flame." I did not dare descend to his own level, but I kept my head inclined as one who walks in reverence, meditating good and evil. "What brings you here before your own last day? What fortune or what destiny?" he began. "And who is he that leads you in this dark way?" "Up there, in the happy life, I went astray in a valley," I replied, "before I had reached the fullness of my years. Only yesterday at dawn I turned from it. This spirit showed himself to me as I was turning back and guides me home again along this road." And he, "Follow your star. For if in all of the sweet life I saw one truth shine clearly, you cannot miss your glorious arrival." And had I lived to do what I meant to do, I would have cheered and seconded your work, observing heaven so well disposed towards you. But that ungrateful and malignant stock that came down from Fiesole of old and still smacks of the mountain and the rock, for your good works will be your enemy. And there is cause. The sweet fig is not meant to bear its fruit beside the bitter sorb tree. Even the old adage calls them blind, an envious, proud, and avaricious people. See that you root their custom from your mind. It is written in your stars, and will come to pass, that your honors shall make both sides hunger for you. But the goat shall never reach to crop that grass. Let the beasts of Fiesole devour their get like sows, but never let them touch the plant. If among their rankness any springs up yet, in which it is born again the holy seed of the Romans who remained among their rabble when Florence made a new nest for their greed. "Ah, had I all my wish," I answered then, "you would not yet be banished from the world in which you were a radiance among men. For that sweet image, gentle and parental, you were to me in the world when hour by hour you taught me how man makes himself eternal, lives in my mind, and now strikes to my heart. And while I live, the gratitude I owe it will speak to men out of my life and art. What you have told me of my course, I write by another text, I save to show a lady who will judge these matters if I reach her height. This much I would have you know, so long I say, as nothing in my conscience troubles me, I am prepared for fortune, come what may. Twice already in the eternal shade I have heard this prophecy, but let fortune turn her wheel as she please, and the countryman his spade. My guiding spirit paused at my last word, and turning right about, stood eye to eye to say to me, well heeded is well heard. But I did not reply to him, going on with Cern Brunetto to ask him who was with him in the hot sands, the best born and best known. And he, to me, of some who share this walk it is good to know. Of the rest, let us say nothing, for the time would be too short for so much talk. In brief, we all were clerks and men of worth, great men of letters, scholars of renown, all by the one same crime defiled on earth. Priscian moves there along the wearisome and sad way, and Francesco da Corso, and also there, if you have any longing for such scum, you might have seen that one, the servant of servants, sent from the Arno to the Baglioni, where he left his unnatural organ wrapped in cerements. I would say more, but there across the sand a new smoke rises and a new people come, and I must run to be with my own band. Remember my treasure, in which I shall live on. I ask no more. He turned then and seemed across that plain like one of those who run for the green cloth at Verona, and of those more like the one who wins than those who lose.